Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Lunch Investing, where we will be discussing some of the insights and perspectives shared by Charlie Munger and Lilu in a 5-year-old interview with the Chinese media. This video will have 3 parts in it. The interview was uploaded in 3 parts, but it's kind of low sound quality and has too many cuts in it. So I took some notes from all 3 parts and reorganized them. First, we will be talking about the investing philosophy of these legendary investors. Then, in the second part, we will be focusing more on China, and finally, there were some real good quotes on how to live a good life from Munger, so third part will be more general topics. Without any further ado, let's get started. Lilu and Charlie Munger both agree that it's not wise to try to make money on market fluctuations, and instead, it is better to focus on long-term investments. Munger also mentions that the Chinese investors who got rich through the Hong Kong stock market are not short-term traders. So there is an example of Pony Ma here. He is the chairman and the CEO of Tencent, just like Buffett with Berkshire. And Tencent also engages in strategic investments and acquisitions of other companies. So Pony Ma, according to Google, has a net worth of $41 billion and he still owns $34.5 billion worth of Tencent shares. Under his regime, Tencent's intrinsic value has consistently gone up, and he didn't care what value markets gave to Tencent in short periods of time. Another note here is Charlie Munger said that Mungers have 3 stocks: Berkshire, Costco, and Himalaya Capital, the hedge fund of Lilu. Now he also has a huge real estate portfolio, but I believe he means as stock market investments. These are where the family's wealth rests. He also has some daily journal stock as well, but it is not an important size. Munger always talks about how you don't need many stocks to invest in. When a great company that can grow its earnings for a long time goes on sale, you invest heavily and then just sit on your ass. In fact, Monish Pabrai once told a great joke about this philosophy where he said, every day Ben Graham goes to the supermarket and buys whatever is the cheapest. Charlie Munger also goes to the supermarket every day, looks at the price of his favorite thing to buy, and waits until it goes on sale. So Munger doesn't need 50 stocks to invest in. He can do just fine with very few. But of course, this is a very concentrated portfolio and may not be suitable for many of the investors. And as Morgan Housel says in his book, The Psychology of Money, your portfolio shouldn't keep you up at night. At the time of the interview, Berkshire Hathaway recently invested in airlines, even though they are usually not good for shareholders. Because the business had changed a little and the stock was dirt cheap, they did the investment anyway. And Munger said that when facts change, he changes his mind, just like Keynes. When asked about technology investing, Charlie Munger says that to be a great investor, you need to keep learning. So in the early days of Berkshire, they never invested in tech because they didn't understand it. But right now, Apple is by far their biggest position. And back when this interview was made, Berkshire was still increasing their investment in Apple. In fact, it was their biggest position back then as well, with $47 billion in market value, followed by Wells Fargo with only $26 billion. Munger also said that they view Apple as a consumer electronics company, not a computer science company. So they still don't invest in companies they don't understand. Now, let's look at what they said about China. The first part that I want to talk about is, unlike many other things, Munger did not start investing in China when he bought Alibaba. In fact, Charlie Munger has been investing in China with Lilu for almost 20 years now. So he has been very familiar with the Chinese market. Charlie Munger expects that the investment environment in China will become much better in the future. He believes that investors can get more value for their money in China compared to other markets. And that was from 2018. Now going back to Lilu, he believes that Chinese markets will follow the same path as US markets. So he obviously expects the growth to continue. Lilu also believes that some Chinese companies like Tencent and Alibaba have leveraged the internet to create their own unique products and are now better than American companies. He didn't give out what they were, but I assume he means WeChat for Tencent and maybe Alipay for Alibaba. He advises investors to find their circle of competence and analyze each company separately. This advice has been given by almost every super investor from Buffett to Peter Lynch, and I completely agree. One thing that I want to add is none of them came to the world with deep knowledge about certain topics. Like Buffett, for example, is known for his ability to invest in banks, but even he had to study the business, so you can always broaden your circle of competence. And finally, looking at the more general topics, Charlie Munger says that the key to living a good life is to live it one day at a time. Do your best every day, and eventually you will have a good life. Similar to compounding wealth, this daily approach will accumulate and eventually result in a life well lived, in my opinion. Both Munger and Lu agree that rationality and seeing the world as it is the most important thing. Charlie mentions that even if you miss some major opportunities, you can still come out alright. Like the time where he got offered additional 1500 shares of Belridge Oil the day after he bought 300 shares. He had to borrow some money to buy it, so he did not buy those shares. According to Munger, this decision cost him about $5 billion because he put the money he made on Belridge Oil into Berkshire Hathaway stock. So he missed that opportunity, but still came out alright. Right after this story, he said, think of the people who have miserable first marriage but a wonderful second marriage. Then after that, Lilo, just like every other value investor, emphasizes the importance of time in the markets and being invested in the markets for the long haul. And couple of last notes, Charlie Munger is an incredible reader. He reads 20 books a week, and at 95 years old, that number is just absurd to me. And finally, Munger likes Chinese people because they share the same Confucianist values as Warren Buffett and himself. And if you ask what are Confucianist values to ChatGPT, it gives out a great answer. And if anybody wants to read it, you can stop the video or ask it yourselves. I highly recommend it. So that's all for today's video. I will leave the link to the whole interview in the description, and I hope you enjoyed these insights from Charlie Munger and Lilo. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one.